There's a lighthouse on the edge of the Norwegian Sea that no one wants to admit exists. There's no name on maritime maps, only coordinates passed down by whispered word or scribbled in the margins of a sailor's will. No vessels sail near it intentionally yet. Stories of boats swallowed in silence, GPS signals, lost radios photostatic, always end with the same word image. A tall, thin silhouette of a lighthouse crooked, as if leaning toward something long vanished in the sea. In 1936, the keeper of that lighthouse vanished. His name was Emil Kill, a former cartographer turned maritime signalman, transferred to the northern observation post, under the Norwegian Naval Authority. That's what the paperwork said, but the building he was sent to did not exist in official records. Then no power source, no supply routes, just stone, wind, and silence. Emil's letters to his sister Astrid arrived once a month for 4 months. Each grew shorter. The first described a stormless sky with a horizon that seemed to move like it was breathing. The second spoke of strange dreams and a visitor, not a man. He clarified, but something shaped like a question. In the third, he wrote of light inside the lighthouse, even though the lens was rusted shot. The fourth letter never arrived. But what Astrid was sealed, instead delivered by hand. No postmark, no signature. It was a faded photograph of the lighthouse taken at night. In the window of the keeper's quarters, a silhouette with no face, just the outline of a man staring at the sea. And beneath it, written in trembling ink, he turned on the light, but it shines in. Emil Kurel had disappeared. His belongings remained untouched in the lighthouse, sealed within drawers swollen from sea air. His journals, however, were gone, save for one loose sheet, wedged behind the old brass backplane. It was brittle, water-stained, and written in a trembling script that shifted in pressure. As if a hand wrote it had been fighting gravity, it read, "The light is not for the sea, for what's underneath." Audi. In 1947, a joint Norwegian-British research team arrived at the island. After radar anomalies disrupted submarine navigation through the Barents Sea, what they found was not a lighthouse, but a shell of one walls intact, but hollow inside. No sails, no lantern room, just walls, windowless, like a mausoleum that forgot what it buried. What confounded them more was the seabed. It wasn't rock, it was iron. A massive concave structure beneath the lighthouse, shaped like the inside of a lens, covered in a thin layer of salt. And what appeared to be scorch marks, they showed the side, of course, declared it unstable. The last transmission from the team came 48 hours later. A garbled Morse signal repeating the same 3 words for 6 straight minutes. "Do not look." That phrase has appeared 6 more times since then. Once in a deep-sea diver's log recovered from a sunken Soviet trawler. Again, in the pages of a psychiatric ward patient who had never left mainland Norway. And most recently, etched in reverse across the inside of a fog camera lens, sent by an anonymous source to a maritime archive in Bergen. It wasn't carved, it was melted. And when the archivist tried to photograph it, images came back blank, except for a faint outline in the corner. A silhouette, facing away from the camera, standing in a doorway made of glass. They traced the origin of the camera back to a name that had then been uttered in nearly 90 years. Emil Kill. But there's no birth record of Emil, no death certificate, just a transfer order, filed under a code designation that doesn't match any known naval database, code LUX, Inferdus _36. There's a room beneath the lighthouse that doesn't exist in any architectural plan. The men who rebuilt the station in 1921 called it the archive, though it had no shelves, no books, and no air. It was a pit cylindrical, lined with copper, and it hummed constantly. At exactly 101.3 hits. Inside, sealed under glass, were hundreds of index cards, each marked not by names but by sounds. The archivists called them frequency echoes. Each card bore a waveform printed in silk-black ink, and next to it an inscription, a date, a place, and a phrase. One read, October 12, 1898. Smolensk. He called from under the floor. Another, February 2, 1931, Devonshire. The painting moved its eyes. And then, June 6, 1904. Bernswide. I remember drowning, but I never learned to swim. Each echo, it was later theorized, corresponded not to a transmission, but to a memory. A recording of trauma. Pain, loss, fear, preserved as if by magnetic sympathy, pulled into the tower like iron filings to a lodestone. Fascia Marta Iden, the first cataloged them, vanished 2 months after publishing her initial theory. Her last note sent in a voice message to a colleague in Oslo was corrupted, but fragments were recovered. One segment looped backward and enhanced, revealed a phrase whispered in a voice that wasn't hers. Will you forget? He remembers. This began what the maritime community quietly calls the resonance panic. Old sailors refused to pass the coordinates. Some mariners reported ghost sonar pings perfectly timed, but untraceable. One vessel, the HMS Calder, sent an emergency signal claiming they heard a choir beneath the waves, singing in a language composed only of numbers. They surfaced. No crew remained, only white uniforms folded on deck, a single waveform carved into the helm, a jagged spike, matching the Milk Carol's final note. Whatever the lighthouse kept, it wasn't just memories. It was collecting resonance, storing the unspeakable, and something was responding. The last keeper of the Bernswide was a man named Iljuanik, a former acoustics engineer turned recluse. He took the post in 2017, after the station was reclassified as non-operational by Russian maritime authorities. No supply shipments were scheduled, no oversight. He was as if a lighthouse had been left to vanish into its own silence. But Ilja kept a journal, not written, spoken. Over 48 hours of recordings, copied from an encrypted hard drive found in a sealed container near the ice cliff, which was nothing but a symbol the same glyph etched beneath every frequency echo in the archive. His voice, brittle yet composed, narrates a descent not into madness, but into clarity. The sound does not broadcast, he whispers in entry 7. It's pulled from within us. While we remember, while we try to forget, it becomes signal. Resonance is regret, refusing to die. Spears of the dome, a substructure beneath the pit, revealed when a section of floor collapsed. In it, petrified bodies fused with antennae, eyes open, mouths agape, are preserved by time, but by function. Each skull housed a tiny copper node. Each ribcage was strung with wire. There were victims, there were components. The lighthouse had never been a beacon. It was an instrument. In the signal 101.3 Hz was a tuning fork, resonating across memory, grief, guilt. Ilja's final entry ends abruptly with a single sentence. I see my mother's face on the wall, but I never knew her. The file corrupts halfway through. But deep in the noise, a pulse can be extracted. A beat, a pattern. Morse code, don't wish them. 6 weeks later, a Norwegian research vessel picked up a distress signal near Bernswide. They found no wreckage, no station, no island, only fog. But for 7 seconds, every compass aboard spun counterclockwise, and through the static of the emergency channel came one final sound. Not a scream, nor a call for help, but a bell. 7 seconds, solemn, resonant, and then silence.